And the next thing that we are going to do at this point in time is to create some markups, some dimensions as annotations inside Naviswork. Okay, and as of now, we can close the properties panel. Okay, so unlike Revit where you use only 2 panels most of the time, in Naviswork there's so many panels that can be used at a single point in time that will clog up your space. So I like to kind of close whatever that is not necessary as often as possible. So with so many panels, just to let you know, in case you cannot find some of the panels, just go to the View tab and click on Windows. This is all the panels available in Naviswork. So if you cannot remember where to find or activate the panels, just remember View tab, Windows. Every single panel in Naviswork can be found on this list here. Okay. And at this point in time, I need you to open the contractor maybe, and I'm just opening the viewpoint for cut section 1. Okay. And we're going to do a dimension. To do dimension, you need to go to the Review tab, Measure. So there is different kinds of measurement, which we will go through some of them. The first one, point to point, the simplest one, just go ahead and click on it. Okay, click point A, click point B. Both of them are left clicks, and there you go. You have the dimensions, 9 meters, and you'll see some other dimensions as well. The reason is because the 2 points that you click may not be kind of on the same X, Z, Y axis, and so this tree represents the axis differences between the 2 points that you select. So while you're using measure, you notice that when you measure a different set of objects, maybe here to here, the first one is gone, right? It kind of only remembers one at a time if you just go for measure. Later I will guide you on how to make it permanent, but right now let's try some other tools. And let's try this one called point line. Okay, click on it, and you can measure. Just keep on clicking, and you can see it adds it keeps adding up the path. So this is quite useful if you want to measure the distance for fire exits, and you can just keep clicking and you will continuously add the distance to the overall amount. Okay, so that is for point line. Point line needs to be consecutive, but accumulate does the same thing except that it's not consecutive. So let's try accumulate. Left click, 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 left click. So you can see there's always a gap if you're going to use accumulate, but they basically add up every single line possible, every single line that you created. In the sum is shown here. So that's for accumulate. For angle, you probably need to select 3 points, left click, and left click. So you can see the angle is 39 degrees. Let's try again, left click, and left click, 86 degrees. So 3 clicks for angle. And if you want area, all you need to do is just make sure you have more than 3 points, 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, then you have go to area. If you feel it's not a triangle shape they're measuring, click on it, 4 point, 5 point. So as long as you continue clicking, they kind of form a boundary. But try not to, you can see here, try not to overlap one another, otherwise you will be met with this kind of scenarios. This is probably not what you want, so never kind of cross the points. Okay, I just want to kind of clear it. This button is a clear button, and make sure not to see. And there you go, 31 for whatever points that I kind of define, 31 meters square. So if you want to make something permanent, I'm just going to switch this back to point to point. Click on 2 points. To convert it to be permanent, you need to use this button called convert to red line. So if you just use the measure tool, it's going to be temporary dimension, and you only can create 1 dimension at a time. Whereas if you want it to be permanent, you need to click on this button, convert to red line. Okay, and you will notice, okay, let me see here. Okay, you can see when you press the convert to red line, they probably create a new view for you. The reason why, okay, some of you, there might be a small difference here. Some of you will not have the new view here when you press on the convert to red line. Some of you will have it. Is whenever you move, let's say I right now can see the dimensions here. When I zoom, pan, or rotate, the dimension is gone. While I click view, dimension is back. I move it, it's gone. I click, it's back. So whenever you move and rotate and you press the convert to red line, if it's a different location from the existing viewpoint, Naviswork will automatically create a new viewpoint for you. So you can see I go back to cut section 1. Cut section 1 is actually a bit further. So while I was creating the dimensions, I kind of zoom in closer, and when I press the red line tool, Naviswork will create a new view for you. For some of you, you might notice that you can see the dimensions, but you do not see the measurement point. Okay, so what you need to do if you do not get to see the measurement points like what you see on my screen, you need to click on Naviswork button, options. Okay, and let me see which the button. I can't quite remember which. Let me see, display. Okay, so interface, click on display, and you see system, change it to basic and press OK, and you should be able to see your dimensions shown at this point in time. So some of the computers can show, some can't. If you cannot see the measurement points, just switch it to basic. If you can, then you do not need to do the steps that was shown earlier. So if you want more than one dimensions, click on measure again. Okay, use any kind you want. I just will measure here to here. Then again press convert to red line. So if you did not move, pan, or rotate the view, and you press this button convert to red line, they will merge the two dimensions together in the same viewpoint. Let's say I make a small adjustment, I rotate the view here. You can see when you rotate, the existing one is not shown. Let's say I create a new one from here to maybe somewhere here, and press, you can see, just notice here, when I press convert to red line, view bracket 1. So whenever you rotate, if it's a new viewpoint and it's a new dimension, you click on convert to red line. The next, you'll create a viewpoint for you. Okay. So let's say you are don't want this to be in red color. You have a specific color that you want to use. You'll notice that you cannot change the color right now. So when I change the colors here, you click on it. Blue dimension is still red color. Change the thickness, it looks exactly the same. So one thing to note when you want to convert to red line or you want to make the dimension permanent is you need to change these settings first. Okay, I'm going to change to blue, I'm going to change to thickness 5. Make sure your settings are set first. Now you do your measurement, you press convert to red line, now it's blue. Okay, so you cannot, once you created with the wrong settings, you need to delete and redo again. So just make sure you have set the settings here first before you make it permanent. So to delete something, do a right click. Okay, you must right click at the exact spot. So you have this panel opening. Okay, you can delete, edit, or move. You can move as in move this number here. Okay, right click, press move, and all you need to do is a single left click to position the numerals. So the left click here, you can see it jumps here. Right click, move, left click, jump back here. Right click, edit, you can type whatever information. Maybe this is room to room. Okay, try not to, obviously don't change the dimensions, the values here. Although you can change it, but don't change it, of course, right? Just maybe you can use it to add some description at the back, right? So there you go, room to room. If you don't like it, actually just right click and press delete red line. Right click and you can right click this one. So you probably need to erase to delete the actual dimension. Let me see. Okay, I need to get back here. Okay, so it's a bit clunky. I'm just gonna undo first. Okay, do I have to do this? Okay. Yeah, I have to draw a box here. Okay, you need to draw a box with your left click and consume the entire object, then it will be deleted. So let's just delete the whole thing. How about I just delete the entire view? Okay, here. Go back to the previous one where there's two dimensions here. If you want to add some text, here's the text button. Click on it, just do a left click on any spot you want to add text. Room 101, press OK, there you go. So again, even for text, you need to change the settings here first, otherwise you will not be able to change the color and thickness afterwards. You right click, you can still change to a different text, 105, whatever it is, but the color and thickness will be the same. You can use the draw to create clouds. When you click on the cloud icon, you need to do it clockwise. Left click, 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 left click. So that's a cloud. If you draw it anti-clockwise, then you make an explosive sign. So draw your cloud in a clockwise direction. I'm going to use the erase button, erase all of this here. And what else you can draw lines, you can draw arrows. All these are available to you. I will not not go through them. They are pretty easy to learn. Most important is the cloud, drawing the clockwise. Do not draw anti-clockwise. Let me show you again. Anti-clockwise. Sorry, let me try again. Anti-clockwise will be this shape, like an explosion. Okay, so I'm just going to leave some dimensions here in this view. So when you have these dimensions, okay, they all belong to the F file, NWF file, not the NWC file. Dimensions, viewpoints, annotations, cloud, text, tests, timeliner, chronological sequence, they all belong to the NWF file, Naviswork file set file, not the cache file. The cache file is just the 3D model, and the NWF file is your comments about the 3D model. Okay, so that's again the key difference between the cache file and a file set file.